so that the direction of the picture is in the script. Everything is in the script.
Let's move into the moment I stop talking and you guys ask the questions yourselves. I think we have a pretty clear understanding of who's written what and what are the other guys and the other people's stories about. What would you guys like to know about your fellow writers right here today? What question would you like to ask? Mike.
Can I ask the first question? JW, you didn't tell us the secret how you were envisioning the flashback. That's when you stopped. I want to know, in a sitcom, how do you envision a flashback?
Yeah, I mean, it's as literal as can be. In my version of the show, we're filming it, the characters are in their place, they have a line of dialogue that sets up a flashback, and literally the screen will go black live. You'll hear them running to these places because the flashback takes place on the same set, and the lights will go back up. So you'll hear and see that the flashback is happening live. They act out the flashback, and then lights down, and they return back to it.
How do you make sure that the audience understands this is supposed to be a flashback? Because they're going to be wearing the same clothes and it's going to be basically almost the same setting. How do you make sure they understand?
With a line of dialogue that jokes it away, where one of the characters is like, "Oh, I'm so glad we were all wearing the exact same clothes," or something like that. Or we also, for a while, I had the joke in there that only one person was having a really elaborate, different outfit. And you would see the struggle. Like, there's something to me as a comedic performer that I like to see actors have fun with something almost treacherous in some ways that they have to do, because I feel like there's a lot of chaotic fun to be had there.
Okay.
Yeah, remember, it's JW explained about the dumb aspect of things. So it sounds very playful. It sounds like a way. They did it with WandaVision, but in a drama aspect, drama perspective. That could be interesting to see it, because it makes the audience engaged. You use the set more as a stage.
Yeah.
And that could really result in something very, very cool. Okay, guys, another question? Yep, Ian?
Yeah, I have a specific question for Mike, because I've always wanted to try novel writing, but I hear that the process of getting something published can be a bit of an ordeal. Do you have any advice for someone who may want to get a novel published in the future, and what was your experience like with that?
First of all, I think you're off to a very good start. I personally think that writing screenplays is a terrific way of preparing to write a novel, because you're focusing on the dialogue. So basically, even though a screenplay is much shorter and requires less work, so to say. I mean, don't hate me for that, but I think it does. But you have all the dialogues ready. So I personally think starting out with a screenplay is a terrific way of turning it into a novel. Now, with the novel, my single and most important advice is you do need input, because a novel is so long. Look at this one, is 100,000 words. I would not have been able to turn that into a consistent story without the assistance of beta readers, or call it an editor, whatever. I think that is the most important thing, and I believe it is very important to get input from other people early on. Basically, when you have a first draft, 30 pages, 40 pages, you need input from other people.
Yeah.
Let me give you one, if I just can give you one example very quickly. This one song that I perform in the video is a blessing that the tribal elder sings. And that was a suggestion from my editor, who said, I mean, this tribal elder can't just send the protagonist off just like that. Bye, see ya. There has to be something else. That was the comment. I said, okay, I got to do something. Okay, I come up with a blessing. He's going to sing a blessing song.
Okay. What about the publishing aspect? Did you self-publish? Did you have a publishing company working with
It's a
you?
publishing company. This is one of these hybrid publishers that I used. It's a publisher. If you publish yourself, it looks a little strange, unfortunately, to some people. It is better, I believe, to have a publisher behind you. Now, finding one of these big time publishers to publish your book is extremely hard. And there is another negative aspect. They will tell you how to rewrite the story. I don't want to put up with that. I'm not going to accept that. I want to publish the story the way I like it, with my pictures, with my music. I want this story my way. So I went with one of these hybrid publishers that basically lets you do almost anything you want.
Okay.
And I think that's really good advice actually regarding turning the script to a novel, because the novel I'm working on now, I'm actually writing it in script format first, so I can get the meat and the skeleton of the story down first, because I find
Yes.
that when I write a novel off just started as a novel, I get too distracted by prose and it distracts me from the story and the dialogue and the characters. So by writing it as a script first, I can get the characters, the dialogue, and the actual flow of the story down before I like add more of the meat to it. So that that's great advice.
I think that's a great starting point. I think you're on the right track. And as I said, other people will say, oh my God, a novel is a different genre, completely different. I disagree. I think you're starting out the right way.
It's all about storytelling, and you can change the form, you can change the layout, but if you have the story you're going to tell, this is what matters, whatever the format.
Absolutely, Matt. Absolutely.
Next question.
I have one.
Yeah.
And I'll open it up to anyone. I know when I work on scripts, I am at one of my biggest goals. One of the first things I set a deadline for is to do some sort of table read of it.
Yes.
Now, a big thing for me, especially since most of what I write is a comedy, is I'm hearing what's funny, what dialogue is awkward, what gets a laugh in the room. But I'm really interested to hear from the stuff that's a little bit more dramatic, less comedic. A, if you other people find that table read is an important part of their process or not. And B, what are you looking for? Because my brain can't even wrap itself around what you would be listening for in a dramatic pieces table read.
Who wants to answer?
Well, just to speak from general experience, because I did several table reads for my script over in New York. I guess I don't necessarily look for the reaction in the moment. I really take just the post read critiques into account, and it's all a matter of if they give you a small amount of critiques, that means they didn't care for it that much. But if they just keep piling critique after critique, it means they were paying attention. They care about it. They want the story to improve. So I like when my critiques go on for a long time, because that means they were paying attention and are intrigued by the story. So I definitely would say what I take most into account is the length of the critiques after they're done reading it for a dramatic thing.
Oh, that's interesting. But that's true. I've had some that had like 5 minutes of feedback, and then ones that were double the length of the actual read.
Yeah.
I have a friend, every time I make a movie or write a script or do a first rough edit or anything, I send it to him, and he sends me a feedback with the time code, like 2 minutes and 14 seconds. This could be changed. 15 minutes and 12 seconds. This, and this is, he's engaged. He's not just a friend. He knows what he's talking about. He's interested in the story. He's engaged, and feedback is detailed and very specific. You can agree or not, because you know the story you want to tell and how you want to tell it. But somebody else sharing that such specific or lengthy feedback means also that there's a dialogue open with that person. Yeah, Branislava, do you wanna add something to that?
No. I'm just listening.
Okay, Samuel. Table reads, importance of table reads, and what are you looking for in that specific moment when the actors say the words?
For me, it's more likely I like when, most likely like Mike is Mike. Yeah, I'm sorry. I like how the actors, like how they embrace those characters, what they can tell me about those characters. Especially, I like, as you know, whether you're a director or you're a writer, you love when actors actually understand, can really do more about that character that you know when they bring something else on the table. Because several times that you'll find actors that's just like, that will tell you like, hey, I think a character will do such and such instead of this, you know, and it's always that piece that you miss. So sometimes you have to pay attention and really focus on how they receive that and how they understand. And that's for me, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, interesting. Any last question you want to ask for this roundtable before we wrap up?
I just have one final one, if that's okay, unless anyone else wants to go. That's it. Like I said, I'm fresh out of college, and I started a day job for about almost 4 months now. But I mean, like, honestly, it's just an ATM for me to make money while I write on the side and pursue what I really want. For all of you that have been involved in this industry and this and the craft of writing much longer than me, what's your advice on balancing like your day job with writing, like on the side?
The balance.
Ooh, that is an important question when you are, I mean, I kind of did that classic stand-up comedian thing where I'd work a 9-to-5 job, leave, do a 7 o'clock show, do an 8 o'clock show, work on other projects, etc. And that can be a grind that unfortunately sometimes can zap you of your creativity. Maybe not your creativity, but just an exhaustion level that gets you to the point where maybe you're not producing the best possible work. I would say for me, what really helped is twofold. One, find a job that doesn't mentally exhaust you. And that can mean a lot of different things. I was working a corporate job that was very intense mentally. And I found a job that didn't challenge me as much mentally during the day, but still paid about the same. And that was actually a better situation, even though to an outsider's eye, it might have not been the better job. And I would say in two, I used personal time off and other stuff like that and planned ahead so that I could give myself like mini personal writing retreats where I would allow myself, I would like Airbnb somewhere 40 minutes out of the city, go be by myself, turn off the phone, tell my friends, parents, and loved ones, do not call me during this weekend. And I would kind of allow that vacation for myself, but I also wouldn't put a lot of pressure on, I need to finish something this weekend. It was just an oasis for myself to like just create whatever wants to come out. But a lot of times that was when the most came out.
Excellent.
Okay.
If I can add just one aspect to that, I think consistency is very important. Basically, no matter what job you have, no matter how you pay the bills, I think it's consistency. Make sure that every day you do something that is related to whatever you're writing on. I have a notebook in my car, and unfortunately I just put it away, but I scribble. Basically, when I have a minute at a red light or something occurred to me, I should add this to that story. I write it down, and then I put it into that draft, whatever draft it is, the same day. So I do touch my writings every day consistently.
Yeah, feed the beast. You are all the ideas you have that come to you anytime. When I don't have the possibility to actually write, I record just ideas or phrases, sentences on my phone, and then I send that recording to my email. And then when I check my emails, I take that and I put it like you do right away in the script, in the book, in the novel, in anything, so it doesn't get lost. But you need consistency, yes, but you also need to, when you take that note, put it in the project. Do not let it sit, because it's the best way to forget about it and to lose it. So
and do it the same day.
The same day if you can. That's why I email it, because I mean I check my emails all the time. Anyway, that's not about me. Okay.
I've fallen into that trap before, though, where I'll scribble down a note and then like up 2 weeks later decide to revisit it. And I'm like, I don't know why I wrote down out of 5-legged cat to my script, but it is no longer viable in my brain.
True. Sometimes, totally relate to that. Guys, thank you so much for sharing all that. I know this is, I feel a script is much more, in a way, it's very personal because it goes from this to the paper, to the computer, and this is a direct connection to the guy or the gal who's writing it. Definitely. What I'm going to do, and what we always do, it's been a few years now we do that. I'm going to leave the chat open. So there's a chat on the right side of your screen. It's called chat. I'm going to leave a message right here. Hello. So you have a red box that should, a notification that should appear. So if you guys want to exchange emails, if you have more questions for one another, I'm gonna, after we close this down, I'm gonna leave StreamYard open before I close it down. So you have 5 minutes to exchange emails, ask a few other questions, and get in touch with each other if you want to. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much. Congratulations,
Thank you,
Wayne. Thank you so much for your participation. And I feel lucky I had the chance to meet with all of you. And I wish you the best for the end of 2022 and the next year to come with all of your projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
So that the direction of the picture is in the script. Everything is in the script.